the rate of success I've had going through OTA level 1 and level 2, I have the ability to not enroll new clients for a few months and know that everything's going to be perfectly okay. But maybe that's what was going on with me after 8 solid years of doing the exact same thing, almost the exact same way. I just got to that point where I'm like, let me tear down all these Legos and see if I can build something else cool, right? You sort of get to that point.
This is the online trainer show, trainer show, trainer show. This is the online trainer show.
We shouldn't have a podcast. So for folks, you guys don't hear the brilliant and witty debates that we have before this podcast starts.
It's pronounced witty. It's pronounced witty.
I'm sorry, Jonathan. I apologize. I can't seem to get that right. And usually those incredibly insightful debates that we have 2 minutes before Amber hits the record button are circulated around what we're actually going to talk about 2 minutes later when she does hit the record button. And I'm glad you didn't hear it today because Jonathan stepped all over my idea for the podcast today. So I'm going to wish ill on this entire episode just based on the fact that he did not agree emphatically with my choice for what to talk about today. He went with keto. I think it's it's a dangerous decision. Right,
you say I went with Caro. I mean, first of all, it was an objectively bad choice of topic, but second of all,
it may have been.
You said went with Caro. One thing that you did not notice is the silent shade that Amber threw on you, because if you notice, when you said the topic, Amber didn't do anything.
She said
when
nothing.
Carolina said the topic, she immediately started hitting the countdown for the episode to start.
Absolutely, she pressed the button. She committed to the nuclear launch code on behalf of Keto's intel about foreign adversaries. I tried to warn her that we were under attack. She paid no attention. I was passed over for a military promotion just now is what happened. I came in trying to get a general star. Amber passed over me as commander-in-chief here, and she deputized Keto in an instant. Keto is now in charge of all future topics on the show. And I've got a bag of Twizzlers, so I'm just going to dive into my bag of Twizzlers today, and I'm just, forget all of you. You blasphemers. Forget you all.
So, bag of Twizzlers. I need some explanation on this. That's generally candy reserved for 8-year-olds. So, is that something that you go out on your own and have a hankering for and decide that you want to go to the store and get it? Is that something where you're walking by and it's like an impulse purchase? Was it given to you as a gift, maybe in a loot bag at like a child's birthday party you attended? Where did those Twizzlers come from?
This is a good question. So for the folks out there listening, this is why Jonathan's so good at building things. Because he asks the right questions. Because this is a valid and important set of questions. This is how you get what you want out of your business, asking very guided questions. And he's an active listener. So what happened, Jonathan, was had an 8-year-old nephew here over the weekend.
No, of course.
Right, of course. And we screened the Black Widow movie that just came out on Disney Plus. Scarlett Johansson, babe alert, by the way. Scarlett Johansson's in, not to minimize her acting. Yeah, not to minimize her acting skill and her ability as an action star, but I mean, babe alert. Exactly. So I like the when I sit down to a movie in the theater, the theatre. When I'm in the theater. I'm sorry, theater. I like to have a little popcorn and I like to have a little Twizzlers. And the young one also a Twizzlers fan, so.
Got it.
Wait,
so those are movie theater Twizzlers? That's like a $7 bag of Twizzlers.
No, they're $7 at the movies because that's the markup.
So you're saying you stole the movie and watched it legally?
No, I watched it. I downloaded it on. For God's sakes, man! I downloaded it on Disney Plus. I don't like what you're insinuating about my character. First of all,
I thought that movie theaters were open again. I didn't know that was a thing. I watch no media. I don't understand.
Right, you have
how
no television
these
in your
things
home.
work. Yeah,
right.
Yeah, I don't understand how those work.
And regarding the $7 candy, as a legitimate and certified Mexican mom, I can tell you that the right way to do it is to go to the dollar store. Take your ass and your kids to the dollar store and buy all the candy there, and then you contraband it inside your massive Mary Poppins bag.
And up every single sleeve.
Right?
Up every single sleeve, down every single pant leg. Oh, yeah.
That's
100%.
what boobs are for. As far as I'm concerned, that's what bras are for. You stuff things in there. I mean, back in my day, it was cigarette packs, entire cigarette packs. Now it's candy for my kids.
I feel like they don't search you.
Oh, they don't care.
Deeply enough to force you to actually hide it in your bra. Like I feel like you could hide Twizzlers easier than sticking it in your bra.
Listen, don't mess with my fun, okay? You do you. You let me do me. I'm gonna put things in my bra if I want to.
I think
your
what
body,
Jonathan's
your business.
saying,
I get it. That's cool.
My body, my choice. I think what Jonathan's saying here is that there's absolutely zero oversight at movie theaters. Like, legitimately, has anybody been checked for any reason at a movie theater? Like, for talking too loud? Like old school movies will show you, and I remember the 80s because I was alive then. Old school movies will show you somebody going up and down the aisle with a flashlight. That does not happen in a modern day movie theater. You know,
that dude ripping your ticket, making minimum wage. Like, you really think that they're gonna police it? Like, this is where they're putting their stand. This is where they're putting their flag down. Like, this
You're right. He's not even making minimum wage, and he ain't gonna be no narc. He ain't no narc.
It's not.
He's like, if they're not buying the popcorn from the movie theater, that means the movie theater is going to have leftover popcorn, and I get to take that shit home at the end of the night.
Pretty much.
So steal as much as you want. Like, that's what they're thinking.
It only makes sense. So, you know, I think culturally, and I don't want to be stereotypical here, although it's great for ratings. I think that culturally, probably the Mexican and or Mexican American community, the Jewish American community, and the African American community are probably in agreement of taking things into the movie theater is a much better standard play.
Was that a Jewish stereotype?
It is a stereotype. Man. I've stereotyped 3 different demographics in one sentence. I feel good about it.
The 3
I feel like it's probably
here.
I feel like it's probably fairly solid information, and I'm gonna throw Amber in there too because I know in the South we take food places, so probably pretty common for her too. She's probably got a bag of candy going into the theater also, or some other snack. It doesn't get weird until you.
Can we stop talking about this? I feel like I haven't. I feel like I haven't recorded an episode in like a long time. Is that true?
It's been a while.
How long has it been for you?
Were you here last time?
I don't remember. Was I?
You were here Thursday, I think.
With the kids.
It feels the same for me, though. I was here last time, and it feels the same for me. I am completely disconnected from all things work, and I regret
nothing. What did we talk
nothing.
about last time?
Whatever you said, Jonathan. You had something that you talked about, and it was in great detail.
I remember. I don't remember what the topic was. Doesn't matter. You can just scroll. You're on your app. Just scroll back to the last one. You don't need it from me. But, like, I remember that I came up with the topic, and I remember that I kind of fumbled through it because what I tried to do is it was a concept that I was trying to understand myself, and I figured if I forced myself to talk about it on a podcast, I'd be able to make sense of it more. This is kind of one of the hidden secrets to teaching something is that if you really want to learn something, the best way to learn it is actually to teach it. And find somebody that you can explain that to, because what teaching something forces you to do is explain it in a way that if somebody else has no prior knowledge or understanding of the thing, you have to verbalize it in a much more clear, clairvoyant way. And I felt like last time, if I remember correctly, it was a concept that I intuitively understood but didn't understand as well as I thought I did. And so as much as I wanted to, and so I decided that I wanted to do a podcast episode on it to force me to talk about it and make my thoughts a little bit more clear. This is actually one of the like hidden secrets of what I've done for the last number of years. Like, if there's a topic that I think is really important that I want to understand, I'll write an article about it, I'll write a book about it, I'll create a video about it, because it forces you to A, direct your learning in that direction, and B, understanding something well enough to explain it to somebody else is a whole different level of understanding of a thing. So that was Kate. Can I talk about my gelato shop now?
Please. I'm desperately interested in hearing.
I just want to say this is exactly how Jonathan ended up writing 11 books. Okay, he was just trying to understand stuff.
I mean, you're not wrong.
It's a solid strategy. It's a solid strategy, Keto. What an astute observation you just made.
How many people out there are people who prophetize and prostelize, and I can't pronounce words. How many people out there talk about all of these topics and write books or whatever about these topics and like don't actually understand it enough themselves or have anything to back it up. Like there's a lot of business coaches that don't have businesses. You know what I'm saying? And there's a lot of life coaches whose lives are not
who are 22 years old. It's like what life have you seen? Like for real?
Or like kind of not that well put together. There's a lot of I mean there's a lot of empowerment coaches, female and male, like not body awareness, that's not the right word, but like body empowerment coaches who have serious problems with their own body and haven't come to terms with that yet. Like this is not an uncommon thing, because oftentimes the things that are most vivid to us in a mirror are things that we struggle with the most. And so in trying to deal with it yourself, you talk about it, and then because you're the one talking about something, you start to get seen as an expert on that thing, because most people just don't articulate their thoughts. And so if you're the type of person who has enough confidence, or you're just the type of person to articulate your thoughts, then all of a sudden you become the expert in that thing because you're the one talking about it, even though you might really struggle with it. And then you kind of get caught in this trap of like having to actually help others with a thing that you don't even know how to solve for yourself.
Having said that,
I digress.
Are you trying to better understand gelato? Is that why you're about to talk about it? Because you want to?
I'm certainly trying to better understand gym ownership.
Okay. Well, can you get through your story? Because Keto's got stripper stories, and I don't want to use up too much time on this ice cream thing you're about to do. Can we move on, please? Like, that's all I saw as soon as I popped in, and I've been thinking about it ever since.
Sure. I think there's tremendous opportunity in brick and mortar and in-person, particularly localized, community-based in-person businesses right now. I think that there's more opportunity than there's ever been.
Yes.
In the fitness industry, for people who have stable businesses and understand online marketing and are able to build multiple income streams out of a space, I think that there's more opportunity now than there's ever been in my life. And the reason for that is a combination of factors that I've never seen before, which is free and available and cheap commercial property.
Yes.
Yes. And easy to negotiate, and you're not locked into the type of contracts that you used to be locked into.
Yep.
More awareness over the importance of physical fitness and health and fitness than there's ever been. Nowhere near where we want there to be, but more awareness than there's ever been. People are willing increasingly to spend money on fitness and on premium fitness offerings than they ever have been. Because of the pandemic, a lot of businesses have gone under. As a result, there are less operators and more demand than there's 100%. Ever been, which means that the supply and demand is in your favor. And then the final piece of the puzzle is because fitness has been deemed non-essential, argue that as much as you want, the reality of it is fitness has a non-essential tag right now, which is bullshit. But it's because the fitness industry is a really weak lobby and didn't fight hard enough. But fitness has a non-essential tag, which means the precedent has been set and it's not going to change that fitness is non-essential. The next time that another shutdown happens, which will happen because, again, there are now precedents for shutdowns. The next time that a shutdown happens, fitness is going to open up last again. As a result, there is legitimate precedent for lenders and landowners to either not give loans or leases or give much worse terms and have much more stringent conditions to people operating a fitness business, which means it's going to be way harder for Joe Smith, the trainer, who was always good with clients but doesn't have a lot of money, to get a loan to start a fitness business.
Right.
Which means competition will stay low. And all of these things coalescing, and there's more talent available now than there's ever been. Because a lot of people have left, particularly the large commercial operations. A lot of people have left those operations and are now free agents, right? So all of these things kind of coalescing, I see tremendous opportunity. I see tremendous opportunity to purchase commercial property. I see tremendous opportunity to operate a brick and mortar business at a premium price and operate everything from continuing education, create our content out of there, have our offices out of there, have a small gym out of there at the same time. And the gelato thing is, we basically met somebody who has an absolutely stellar model for gelato, and we have a great person to run it. And so it may operate out of the same location, it might not, but the gelato thing is just like, I don't know, it's a business that I want to see in my neighborhood. And the next stage of my career is going to be one that's going to be defined as what are businesses that I really want to see exist in the world the right way? Can I build it and lead from the front? Because I feel like I've done enough talking about stuff in books and that. What I want to do for the next stage of my career is show people what's possible, right? You live in a neighborhood, you really want to contribute. I really want to contribute to my neighborhood. I really want to build up my community. There's a bunch of things that I want to exist in my community, supporting the people, building great businesses for the right thing and community-oriented businesses. And I'd love to show that it can be done.
I love that you're going to build like your own personal Sesame Street. That's awesome.
Basically.
Can I be like the Big Bird character? Because I always wanted to be big. I'm not tall enough, but I think I got on yellow today.
No, that's Pillsbury Doughboy.
Okay.
What does Big Bird say?
Big Bird doesn't say a whole lot. Like it's ironic. Big Bird, on the whole of Sesame Street, only one or two characters have any discernible catchphrases. Okay. The Count with his laugh. That's like the only catchphrase that I can remember. And
the Cookie Monster's got to have one.
The Cookie Monster.
He's got no catchphrase. Yeah, he does say cookies. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. That's right. And Bert sing Rubber Ducky, you're the one.
That's
you make
right.
that time lots of fun. Rubber Ducky, I'm so like that's the only one.
That's got to be the new online trainer song.
It should be.
Show, you're the one.
Online trainers, you're the ones. You make training lots of fun.
Yes.
Online trainers, we're so in love with you. You shouldn't have a podcast. So before we get too deep in the actual meat, the context of this podcast, I've already forgotten the topic, by the way.
Abigail's in the office. Come say hi to the podcast.
Hi.
Where is she?
Come say hi. Come on. Come on. Look who it is.
I annoyed her so much on the first time. Hey, Abigail.
Hello.
I get to hear the nonsense live.
You did.
Yes.
Yes. Part of the nonsense. This is
I feel for you.
This is why it's important to continue to remind our listeners that they are not paying for this.
Right.
Because
this is the actual show.
This is the show. This is it. This is the product that we're putting out.
She's like, when does the show actually start? You're on it.
Are you now proud at what our company is representing? Yeah, good. Okay.
You're in the show.
Abigail is our lead customer advocate, by the way, and she's fantastic.
She's awesome. She's awesome. Isn't she the person that I annoyed on the original season of the podcast? I think she was my producer. Yeah.
She did. Yeah, that's right.
She was the one that told me all the stuff that I was doing wrong each and every single episode.
Yeah, she's really good at telling you when you can do things better and really upfront in making it known. She has no qualms of telling you that you could do better.
She does not.
Yeah, that things can be better.
Yeah, I can 100% validate that statement. Yeah. And,
it's because she's Israeli. Israelis, that's something you need to know about Israelis, is they are the most combative, in-your-face population, and they have the least amount of respect for authority. Like this is like a legitimate thing. I can't remember what the guideline is called, but like there's actually a number that's given based off of like societies like respect for authority, and obviously a lot of the Asian and Southeast Asian cultures obviously are very like if the government says do it, then they do it, right? In Israel, like a general could tell an infantryman to like make his bed, and the infantryman would be like, "Why do I need to make my bed? Why do I'm just going to get into it again. Why do I need to make my bed?" Like this is what the Israeli army is basically. That's what it is. So anyway,
that makes sense.
Abigail. Yeah.
Wonder Woman was in the Israeli.
It's actually Abigail.
Abigail.
Yeah.
We messed it up. Yeah, Gal Gadot or Gadot.
Joey, how do you say her name? Joey, thanks, Joey, for your contribution. That's our creative director, Joey. I'm recording in the office today with his fantastic contribution to the podcast.
Joey's just wrong. He's just flat out wrong. So, Keto, we may not have time for the stripper story,
Joey's holding it up. He's calling it the Power Distance Index, PDI. So
that's what it's called?
Look this up for me. You guys keep talking. Look this up for me.
We're going to keep talking, Jonathan.
You're not doing anything important, Joey, right now. Creatively, art director stuff. You're not doing anything important right now.
Keto,
what's Joe Rogan thing? Look up what countries have the least and highest power index. What do you call it? Power Distance Index?
That's
he'll look that up for you. We'll get back to it. Okay, then talk about stuff.
No, Catalina, what's our subject today? You broached the subject. We're going to talk about things. We may not get to the stripper stories, but they're always good for Thursday too.
Yes.
So what are we talking about today, Keto? You mentioned something.
Today we are talking about what to do when you are tired or bored or in a lull in your business.
Oh, okay. I thought you were going to end that with with this podcast. For the listeners out there. So listeners,
I'll chime in here because clearly I'm bored all the time, which is why I can't keep to one subject.
Absolutely.
Start a podcast with 3 of your friends that you think is really funny and put absolutely no effort into making it a success. Just show up and have fun every single day.
Zero effort. Yeah. Amber says she hearts you.
Okay, so here it is. So here's the number. So I apologize. Austria is actually number 1. Their score is 11. Israel is number 2. Their score is 13. Go up. Let's go up. So just to give you an idea, go all the way up to the top, Joey. So Malaysia is 104. Israel is 13. Which means that Malaysians are about 9.5 times more respectful of their authority than Israelis are.
This makes sense.
Interesting. I didn't even know that this was something that got quantified in countries. So
Mexico was 81. Mexico is near the top, Kara.
Very, very on brand for Keto.
Where's Canada at? What's Canada? Canada's probably somewhere in the middle. Canada's always somewhere in the middle. Yeah, I don't know. It doesn't matter.
Somewhere in the middle and apologizing for taking somebody's spot. I don't know.
Exactly.
Canada's the median country of the world is Canada.
It is.
Wherever the median line is on anything, Canada rests comfortably in that spot. So when you're, one thing we know about this business, one thing is saying, and this correlates to fitness as well, right? I just did a post about boredom, not yesterday. But one thing we know about business is it's repetitive, right? You have your policies, your procedures, your processes, and a lot of the times you end up repeating things like contacting 5 people a day via DM, or posting 1 to 3 times a day, or your selling sequence, if you have one, it's probably going to be fairly repetitive. We talk all the time about writing the templates for the programming for our clients, right? A lot of what we do is repetitive, and as such, the thrill is usually gone after like a month or 2 or maybe 3, right? You get all excited about having a new business, honeymoon phase, and then you work hard to actually make income from your business. You make some income, and oh boy, this is fun, right? Oh man, I'm making income now. It's great. And then about a month after that, it's you're like,
but it's
sick of this shit,
right?
You're like, I'm so sick of this shit. It doesn't matter what the income level is. Like you just get tired of it. It's just the way that it goes. You just get tired of it. Yeah, it's repetitive. So Keto, since you brought out this incredible topic that Amber endorsed, and as she simultaneously did not endorse my topic, what are we know some of your techniques, Keto. You've given some of them away. I do what the hell I feel like seems to be one of your techniques. I do it when I feel like seems to be a second technique of yours. I don't do it if I don't like it. Seems to be like a close third technique. Sometimes you're able to execute all 3 of these simultaneously. But what are some of your methods for staying out of that place of being bored? And why is it important to you?
It's important because I hate being bored.
Point taken. Very well said.
Yes. No, I like having fun with the stuff that I do. And when something stops being fun, it's like insane how fast I lose interest. Like if it's not fun, I'm out. I'm done. You lost me. I'm gone.
Right.
Like so.
Wow.
So that's a big compliment to you guys. Is that we're a year in and I'm still here and showing up dutifully. So it's like
Right.
you're pretty entertaining, all of you. So kudos to you for that. You should feel that's your pat on the back for today.
I don't know if that's great or not, but thank you.
So now, like the biggest thing is like I've said before, how I think like catching yourself in the fact that you're bored is tricky. Like it can be tricky in like because it's like how do you even identify that you're bored and cycled and all this kind of stuff? You need to at some point connect to yourself and be like, wow, I'm really disengaged with the stuff that I'm doing. This is just not calling to me. Instead of just going through the lull of the same each and every day without doing anything. So that's the first step. Like how are you gonna catch yourself when you're starting to
I like the idea. This is a Jim Collins thing, the business coach, of having what he calls a bug book, but the general concept is study yourself as if you were studying a bug. And it's very, very basic. Basically, you give yourself a score from -2 to +2 over the course of a day after you do an activity based off of how well you feel, how good you feel. And so, and then you write down beside it what you were doing. So all throughout the day, basically, you have this little book with you, and there's just like a line of, what am I doing? And ideally, at the beginning, you do this all throughout the day whenever you do a new activity, and then obviously you're not going to continue doing that. But you give yourself a score from -2 to +2. And the minuses are pretty clearly things that wear you out. The pluses are things that don't, and you should see patterns pretty quickly. And that's just a really nice way to identify kind of what brings you up. I mean, look, at the end of the day, if you're in business, particularly if you're in business for yourself, there's going to be stuff you do that you're not going to want to do. Especially as your business is small, as it grows, you may be able to get rid of most of that. But at least if you know what those things are, you can begin to make a list and know that, this is stuff that I'm going to delegate the second that I have the means to. And this is stuff that I'm not. It's not a strict, like, this is a job that's beneath me. Like, there are things that I still do at my company that you would think would be silly for me to do, considering that I started the company and we have a whole bunch of people working with us now helping out. But, like, there are things that fire me up. Right?
Oh, that's the end of the statement. I'm sorry. I was waiting for the...
That's the end of the statement. I mean, I can keep talking. I keep talking about this stuff. I'll keep talking. I'll tell you what I do when I get bored is I call a friend. Like I have a few good friends in business where if I'm getting bored or if I feel at loose ends, I will call them up and we'll have a conversation and we'll have a very open and honest conversation, and I can literally say to them, like, I'm just not feeling it right now. And usually just being able to talk to somebody about it kind of helps. I feel more energized afterwards. Yeah. It's not necessarily that there's going to be anything that's going to, like, clear up. But that's why it's really important to have colleagues that you can talk to. Even mentors that care for you. Like, this is one of the reasons why we started that Advantage mentorship for the Online Trainer Academy, because we found that a lot of particularly online trainers, they just don't have that. They don't have any kind of support. They don't have anybody that they can just call up and just chat to about what's going on, not even if things are going badly. In fact, you should probably talk to us, talk to friends, talk to whatever when things are going well, just as much if they're going badly. But there's doldrums, right? There's repetitive stuff.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The reality.
Yeah.
Oh no, go ahead, Red. I have something.
No, we waiting on you. I was about to go back to you, Keto. So what are your thoughts there?
Yeah, so another thing that actually works for me a lot to kind of like snap me out of those periods of like blah is sometimes like at the end of the day, energy begets energy. And where I start creating that avalanche of energy doesn't really matter where that comes from. So sometimes for me, that looks like other projects that maybe are not directly, related to my job, but just the fact that I'm so freaking excited about this thing that I'm doing, either for the community or for this or for another, like something, or for a hobby or for anything else, that sparks me up, and that kind of like just, it spills out to other areas of my life, including my work. So don't be narrow-minded in thinking that your enthusiasm and energy will only come from things related to work. Seek for that energy and enthusiasm even in other areas, because it's still going to fill you up, and it's going to contribute and to benefit somehow.
That's a great point. My question here is, if you get bored, how do you keep the business going? Like, you get bored, you feel like you need to, are there appropriate times for you to just pause and step away from your business? By the way, as I'm listening to the two of you talk, I'm not so sure that I was confused in an early episode. I said, I'm really trying to redefine what I'm offering. I'm not so sure that it was that. It may have been I was just bored. I just need to shuffle the deck a little bit, and haven't come to terms with how I need to shuffle it. Thank goodness, because of the rate of success I've had going through OTA level 1 and level 2, I have the ability to not enroll new clients for a few months and know that everything's going to be perfectly okay. But maybe that's what was going on with me after 8 solid years of doing the exact same thing, almost the exact same way. I just got to that point where I'm like, let me tear down all these Legos and see if I can build something else cool, right? You sort of get to that point. So in my case, I'm financially secure in that way. But say if I'm not, how do I address my own boredom then? Are there things that need to stay in place? I guess I'm saying, Jonathan, like, even in the space of boredom, what are some of the possible sort of non-negotiables to make sure that you don't bet your future or your career away simply because you're bored? Because we know oftentimes in the fitness space, clients will just quit if they get bored. They get bored and they disappear, right? They toss all of it away. So what are your thoughts there, Jonathan?
I don't have a good answer, so I want to hear
Very
from Amber.
good. All right, that sounds fair. Just put Amber on the spot. She's up there for a reason.
That's what I do. She always says super smart things when we don't call on her enough. So whenever I don't have a good answer, I don't know the answer to the question.
You guys have just witnessed in real time how the entire PDDC organization works. This is a microcosm of what happens every day. I'm not sure. Ask Amber. That's how we roll here. So Amber, what are your thoughts? Like, what do I need to keep in place as an online coach? I'm not established yet. I don't have, tens of thousands of dollars in savings, but I'm bored out of my skull. And if I do something right now, I could possibly compromise sort of the tail end of my business. Like, what do I need to keep doing if there is such a list?
I mean, if you've just started and you're bored already, I would be marginally concerned.
Right.
That's my first good answer. But, I mean, you have your BAMs, right? Your bare ass minimums, and which is always going to be, like, take care of your current clients, whoever you do have. Right. Make sure you're doing a damn good job with them. Make sure you're telling everybody how awesome you're doing. And continuing to be present. Everything else outside, and by be present on social media and all that stuff. But, like, outside of that, everything else is more or less optional. So when in doubt, that's your foundation. But I find that creating a space that you enjoy working in helps prevent the boredom. So, like, I'm super obnoxious and, like, loud and silly and memes and GIFs and all that stuff. And that keeps me entertained in my business. And I do it everywhere. And when I was running my online training business, like, everything from the thing I named my workouts to, emails, all of that stuff, like, there is no doubt, like, that it is me at its fullest and most obnoxious. So, like, creating a space that you enjoy working in helps with that. So for me, when I get bored, I'll try to recreate the space that I'm working in to rejuvenate myself, but then also, like, how can I make it better? The experience for my clients, the experience from, when they buy to how we have our chats. Like, I challenge myself to do even better. So that would be
that's awesome. And Jonathan, and I'm mentioning your name anecdotally here. I actually don't want to hear from you at all because I want to go to Carol. But anecdotally, Jonathan, you mentioned this repetitively in our sort of how to have fun with what you do episode, right? Making this thing fun, that's probably a contributing factor. But I want to shift over to Carol based on something that Amber said about being present particularly on social, because Catalina, we've, since we run in similar circles, we've both seen people like disappear from social media for like a month. And then they come back to me and Amber in the mentorship space and say, well, I haven't really been doing any social media, so I got to get started all over. May or may not be true, but it can be problematic to just disappear. Like, so when you're not talking about fitness, Keto, I've noticed that you stay present on social media, but you'll talk about other things that interest you, whether it's a bikini or whether it's a social justice issue. Like, is that sort of your formula for when I'm bored and don't really want to do the business thing, but feel like I need to stay? Like, talk to us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so you definitely stay present because yes, you don't want to be forgotten. And now I find I have had those periods of time where I do actually kind of like disappear for whatever kind of reason. It has happened to me too. And it's not the end of the world. You can always come back. And now the coming back to social media can happen two ways. One, you just post a regular like nothing happened. You don't acknowledge the fact that you were gone, because the reality being most people didn't even freaking notice. Like nobody missed you because maybe you're not that known yet and there's nobody out there looking for you, and just lay off the pressure on.
It's like starting every single piece of content with, I keep getting questions about this. It's like none.
It's like no.
Y'all didn't get a single question about
that. So that's one way to do it. Like don't even feel guilty about the fact that you were gone. Shit happens, life happens, whatever. Just start posting again. It's not a big deal. Or the other one is do make it kind of like a I'm back and tie it to your business. In this time that I was absent, I used this time to and build up your system or the program that you're going to be selling, or make it like I'm back and this is why it's an awesome thing that I was gone and now I get to share to you, and you get people excited about what you're working on next. So so every so often do an introduction post. It's like, hey, new faces around here, I should reintroduce myself. This is who I am, this is what I'm for. This is, if you're like this, you're gonna love it here. Stick around to learn about this and this and this. Those posts drive a lot of engagement because it's your face, it's your voice. Like, do that more often. Even when you don't have anything particular to say, it's still you and you are your business. So don't feel bad. Don't beat yourself up if you do disappear for a while, whatever. Like, it's totally fine. Just get back on it.
That makes sense. I like the Pee Wee Herman method of, I meant to do that. That's awesome for me. Like, you just show back up like you didn't fall off your bike in front of 100 people. I meant to do that. I'm just back now, right? Jonathan, I wanted to come to you because
I gotta go. I actually gotta go because I have a meeting that I have to hop to at work. Okay, so I'm gonna go. You guys can continue talking about this.
I'm just gonna recap
more to add
quickly,
other than know that I get bored like more than anybody, which is why I've done so many freaking things
That's
over
why
the years.
gelato's coming your way.
And
so there we go.
it's kind of fun when you lean into it.
Right. Right.
So don't feel like that's a bad thing. If that's your personality to have to bounce around a bunch of things to keep you interesting, like lean into that. Produce a lot. Put a lot of good stuff out into the world, and then eventually, hopefully, you can build a team that helps you run the stuff so you can move on to dumb shit like building a gelato shop.
Yay. Bye.
I'm eager for the gelato book that Jonathan produces as a swell piece of literature. So just to recap, and we'll get out of here. Amber, I'm intimidated by both of you being here and the screens being larger for some reason. Like, it's very intimidating to me. I feel a lot of pressure. I feel like something weird happened just here. Probably no me gusta. I don't like it. So I'm just gonna look up to my own camera because now I'm intimidated by the feminine energy. So just to recap, Amber gave us some brilliant tips. If you're getting bored, the non-negotiables are, you got to maintain your clients. Your current clients, got to make sure they're okay. You're interacting with them. They're good to go. You also want to make sure that you're still doing a good job and people are knowing, they're aware of the fact that you're doing a good job. And fundamentally, staying somewhat present as we trip over into Catalina's tip of, either you can change up what you're talking about, because there are other interests that you have that'll keep you present, probably advantageous to let people on the internet know a little bit more about you specifically in some other non-fitness and business related areas, which is always advantageous, right? Or you can casually slip out of the back door of the apartment, and come back in like you didn't miss anything. I made chimichangas, right? Just come out of the kitchen. And fundamentally, Jonathan said it's okay to lean into that boredom. If that's your mental space, lean into it, explore it. Who knows what you might get out of that? You might create something amazing because you're bored with what you're doing. Anything else to add, ladies? Do we?
Yes.
Go ahead, Keto.
With boredom. No, any educational professional, anybody that works with children will tell you, let kids get bored, because boredom drives invention. It drives innovation. It drives creativity. They have to get resourceful, and it's the same for you. It's okay.
That's so good. Man, I had not anticipated that your commentary would be that good. As field goal, touchdown, whatever you want to call it. We didn't advertise it at all, but this podcast is actually sponsored by somebody. I've got my sheets of paper here. I'm going to go, oh, this looks good. OTA, that's the Online Training Academy, has been helping trainers and nutrition coaches build thriving online businesses since 2013. Let us take out the guesswork for you. You can find us at onlinetrainer.com/OTA. Show notes for this mountain of a show. This magnificent production that you've just witnessed. This altered your life without question. Maybe altered the course of your driving destination today. Maybe you just want to drive on up to Toronto now. Just keep rolling. Meet Jonathan in person. Or Barry. Kettle's there. You can't miss her. She's one of 3 people in Barry. She'll be the one. She'll be the Mexican that you see in Barry when you pass by. That's not stereotypical at all. Show notes can be found at onlinetrainer.com/podcast. You're welcome, North America. Oh, and Lithuania. We'll see you back here soon, except for the folks in Israel who don't listen and don't like us at all because we give too many instructions. Apparently, you guys are so high on the power index. Jingle.
This is the Online Trainer Show. Trainer Show. This is the Online Trainer Show.
We shouldn't have a podcast.